I know you gonna dig this.
I'm outside in an AMG, right outside, TT.
Twin Talk Podcast.
Okay, new episode of Just a Joint. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm here to talk about right now. I'm just trying to stay consistent. The biggest problem in my life, and I mean this fully and seriously, the only real problem that I see in my life is my inability to be very consistent. It's why I lost some of my most precious. It's why I lost some of my most precious relationships. It's why I've missed out on some of my biggest art opportunities. It's why I haven't made the strides I want just in life in general. And now, I grew up on a farm, basically. I say farm to make it easy, but me and my brother grew up, our mom raised us on a boarding school farm. So it's like I used to think it was a college, but that's because I was little and I had no perspective on how old like a high schooler was. From 1 till 10, we just grew up on boarding school farms that were away from like we weren't, there weren't sidewalks, there weren't street lights, there weren't things like that. There were only a few kids on the campus. Like if you my mom worked in administration, so there were a lot of times where she would go on trips to try and recruit kids to come to the school. But then there would be people who taught there and their kids would live there with them. So if you worked at the school or if you taught at the school, you and your kids got to live there. I remember like we lived in Arizona for a while. There was the first boarding school farm we lived on was called Verde Valley School. And we lived there. My mom did administration there. It's where we met. It's where she met Jessie, our sister, who would take care of us all the time. And then Jessie is the lady who had Taliesin, my nephew that I'm always talking about, little cutie boy. I love that guy. And so I'm doing this long explanation just to say we grew up on a farm. We grew up out in nature. For lack of like better phrasing and trying to think too quickly, we had like a Tarzan type of upbringing. The cat's going crazy. I should probably like tape her toys up so it doesn't make the jingle while I'm talking. You know what? Nah, this is short. I'm going to let her rock and we're just going to let it be. So we grew up like little mini Tarzans. We were like running around, hiking, climbing trees, all that shit. And I say thank you, universe, for growing me up in this way because it made me very athletic. Before, I didn't have to work out much growing up. I was always physical. By the time that we started to get older to I think we started playing 9 and 10 is when we started playing soccer. So from like 9 to 10 and onward, all the way through high school, I was always playing soccer or some kind of sport. I played baseball for a little while, and that was horrifying. I hated it so fucking much. I thought I would love it. My mom thought I would love it because she got me one of those toys where you step like there's a whole contraption on the floor. It's like a box with a little tube coming out the top. You put the baseball wiffle ball in the tube, and then you step on it. It shoots the ball into the air, and you could just whack it. You could just pitch to yourself. And so I would be beating that shit. I have very specific memories of like that cat is on 20 X game modes right now. She's like climbing up on the fucking curtains on the ceiling and stuff. It's a little too much. But I have specific memories of like playing with that ball pitching machine by myself for hours and hitting the ball dumbass far. And what the fuck? My mom saw me playing with it all the time and thought, oh, I guess he would like baseball. So she signed me up for baseball, and since then, I've never felt like the worst person on a team. And it's not like the baseball experience was so bad that I ended up going, I have to always be perfect and I can never be a drag on anyone. It's just I just wasn't able to play baseball. Nothing about baseball jived with who I am as a person. I remember getting on to like the going up to bat, and just the thought of somebody throwing that ball at me would terrify me to shit, and I would sweat my ass off. And I was that player on the team where everybody knew, okay, Ian's up. We just have to consider that a strike and move on. I was so bad, and I didn't realize this is how bad I was until I grew up and understood a little bit more about baseball. My coach would always put me out in right field, and if you know anything about baseball, you know that's just where you put the bad people. You'll never have to rely on them. Most people are right-handed, so most people are right-handed hitters. Most people are gonna swing from their right to their left, and they're gonna hit the ball into the left field. I was always in the right field. And so I was just useless. Like, there were times where I was literally, like, kneeling down and just playing in the grass a little bit. And my coach sometimes would be like, yo, get it together. But over time, he was just like, this is analyzing it now, I realize. Over time, he was just like, this kid's like fucking 7. He doesn't give a fuck. I don't care because he's not helping me win. So we both kind of just mutually just stopped giving a fuck. But, yeah, worst sports experience. So we were always just hella physical. And I never fully appreciated being athletic and having an athletic body. I've had like a 6-pack for as long as I can remember. I remember being like in college and we would work out all the time. Oh, in high school with my friend Rafi, and we'd all like be working out, just loving being fit, but never having to work that hard for it because I was consistently I was consistent without trying to be consistent, because when you're a kid, it's easy to just, your parents give you consistency. I grew up, started getting really relaxed about lifting weights because I guess I was just, what's it called? I took it for granted because it was always there. And so right now, the thing that's really killing me the most is actually, that's being dramatic, not killing me the most. I personally don't feel good looking down and seeing my belly start to push out. It's really fucking uncomfortable. I was just like with my brother the other day, and I realized I was sweating a lot, and we like walked to Berkeley Bowl, we kicked it for a little while, and after a while I realized, oh my god, Ian, you're sucking your stomach in because you don't want him to realize that you're getting a belly. And I wanted to I wanted to cry inside. I wanted to laugh at myself because I drink too much. And what I think has really been killing my weight and actually, I'm not even really gaining. I'm just getting a belly. I'm just getting that like African poverty child belly that just looks really fucked up, kind of. I don't look fucked up. I can just tell that it's gonna be fucked up if I don't get it together. This is like, we've all seen those movies where the high school jock, you go like years into the future and now he's like fat and he's a PE teacher or something and he's not the cool guy he was in high school. I can see how my belly is very quickly gonna be that. And like the days of having a 6-pack will just be like distant memories and fables and fucking my kids will be like, yeah, whatever, fat dad, whatever, sure you were hot. And so it's just been discouraging. That's all I'm saying is like, when you hit 30, I mean, you'll notice the things I'm about to say before 30, but when you hit 30, you kind of like, it's the weight of life starting to take its effects on you. Like, my body feels heavy nowadays. And it's heavy relative to how I felt. I still feel great. I can just tell that I'm about to start sliding off a cliff. And it's, most people see it. Most people they'll spend hours working at some job at a desk, and after a decade of it, they're like, fuck, my back is fucked up. I don't work out anymore. And, like, I'm tired all the time. All I do is work and then come home, drink, and fall asleep to go to work again. Like, I'm feeling the weight of my routine, and I'm feeling the weight of not being consistent. And it's kind of funny to me that my problem is not being consistent. But that's not the problem. I can be consistent. I can consistently drink. I can consistently be a fuck off. I can consistently like be late with work. I can consistently fuck around in so many different ways. So like the idea of being consistent, I can obviously do. I'm not being consistent in the ways that I want to be consistent. And that might sound like some sort of distinction without a difference to some people, but I think it's really important to recontextualize things and make yourself realize what's actually going on around you. So yeah, I'm trying to be consistent nowadays. And so I guess I got into this not knowing what to talk about. And I chose consistency because I woke up this morning, I worked out for 20 minutes, got a nice sweat, and then I hopped in the shower immediately, and now I'm out. I'm making breakfast, I'm rolling this joint, I'm doing this little podcast, and then I'm gonna walk off to the grocery store to pick up a couple things that I need so that I can have dinner. This cat, I got the cat a litter box that anybody who has a cat understands. Like they kick all the sand out of their litter box, and so I got her a litter box with walls and a ceiling, so she can kick sand around but it doesn't get anywhere. And now she'll hop into the litter box and just start scratching on the walls for like 5 minutes. And I don't know. I wish I could speak cat, because you see a cat do that one time and it's like, all right, I guess it's a new surrounding. You're trying to understand what you're sitting in. But after a week, it's like, what do you get from scratching on the plastic walls? It's so, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Point is, I chose to talk about consistency because I'm feeling really good. Because I'm that guy who works out one time and then goes, damn, boy. Damn, I'm looking ripped as fuck, boy. God damn. And so, I don't know. Part of me feels like talking about the consistency will make me, in my head, go, all right, now be consistent for the next time. Be consistent for the next time. And it's about being accountable for me, personally. And I think that's what it is for most people. I've seen the people that don't give a fuck about accountability, those kind of like Jesse from Forrest Gump type of people. But I think with most people, they just need somebody to work with. Like, most people that I see get fit as hell and get their exercise regimen together, it's because they got a trainer. And if they didn't get a trainer, they got a workout partner. And that's how they stayed consistent, by being accountable to somebody else. And so this goes into more themes in my life, where I feel like the best me that was about to be was when me and Adon were consistently working together and getting after different projects and things like that. Having someone else there, it's so hard for me to work alone. I'll use a joint, or I'll use taking a drink as like a crutch while I'm working, because I get bored. I'm just sitting there in silence. And even like a podcast or listening to music or watching a movie, that doesn't fill the gap of being able to work and connect with somebody right next to you. And so I don't have a workout partner. I don't have an art partner. I'm trying to stay consistent on my own, and I'm basically trying to learn to rewire myself. It's what everyone does. Not everyone. It's what most people do after they get out of that 20-year-old days. You hit 30, life starts getting real. People start looking at you and going, you're not a fucking baby, so what's up? What are you doing? People start looking at you and going, why haven't you done this yet? Why don't you have a house? Why don't you have a family? And I don't have much to really hang my hat on except for art, because I've never really had to. Having a twin was insular. Having living on boarding school farms was very insular. Being an artist and like being praised for talent as an artist was very insular. Fucking having a big dick is really insular. Like, people don't realize how having a big dick makes you kind of look at, not always. I'm different from other guys, because I know some dudes who have big dicks who are just like, their ego is in the wrong place. They don't know how to just be cool and be calm. They're trying to prove to everybody. But so much of life is sexual that having a big dick kind of makes you go, all right, well, I got that taken care of, so what's the next thing? Or, oh, okay, well, I got the big dick, so whatever. I'll just relax. Nothing else is that big of a deal. It's like money. Poor people want money because of what they think it will afford them. People with money, they know that the money's not really everything it's cracked up to be. It's kind of everything around the money that matters. when I've talked to friends, I have a friend who's got a 2-inch dick, and we talk about sex stuff, and I tell him like, dude, like I just said with the money, it's like, yeah, big dick's fun for a second. It's fun to think about and test the possibility, but it's not. It's everything around the big dick that matters. And you never know until you never know what it's like to be a millionaire until you get the millions. So when a millionaire tells you stop caring about the money, it's like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm poor. I'm worrying about day-to-day bills. What do you mean it's not about the money? So, I have chicken on the stove. I was gonna bring this all around to a point. It was coming about It was coming around about consistency and retraining yourself and being honest with the things that are going on with you and all this stuff. But I have chicken on the stove, and this has gone on for 15 minutes, and that's already long enough. So I'm gonna see out. Oh, actually, last thing. Every podcast, the idea to end it was supposed to be say something to yourself in the future. And the only thing I can think to say right now is, hey, Ian, about 3 years in the future, if you don't have abs, like you kind of have abs now, but it's like turtle shell abs. If you don't have flat washboard abs, by next year, fuck 3 years from now, if you don't have washboard abs by next spring, you're just a failure. And you just might as well give up on art and go get an electrician job. Bye-bye. Mwah.